You know, I'm really sick and tired of people trying to gatekeep the truth, and they get tens of thousands to millions of views. And then you've got smaller channels like mine who try to tell you the truth, and they're placed into a bubble, and people hardly watch anything that we have to say about what's going on in the world. For example, this absolute L take from Angel Akatosh, whose channel I've found mildly entertaining over the years, and Bellular over here, who is regurgitating the bullshit. No, it's not the feminization of WoW that ruined Warcraft, it's the Disneyfication. As a girl who grew up with this game, I observed a deeply feminine side to WoW from vanilla, which made the world deeper and more interesting for blah, 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 blah. There's a whole bunch of shit here about how WoW has always had feminine stuff in it. Well, you know what? One of my favorite games of all time, Odin Sphere, which you're looking at here on my desktop, it's got feminine stuff in it. But guess what it doesn't have in it, you guys? It doesn't have feminism in it. Because there's a very clear difference between feminine stuff and feminism. Feminine is something that is natural. It's natural for women to be feminine. What's unnatural is feminism, trying to plow under the quote-unquote patriarchy and trying to push propaganda, subversive bullshit in video games, movies, you name it. And let's not act like this is just a bubble that's happening. It's something that's happening in World of Warcraft. It's happening all over the place. Your favorite TV show, your favorite movie, your favorite video game, your favorite artists. They seem to all at once be pushing this weird LGBTQ, gay, feminist agenda, anti-white agenda, DEI agenda all at once, all across the board. And then I have to look at people who, like I said, they get millions of views, like Bellular, or tens of thousands of views, like her, and channels who try to expose what's going on from BlackRock-funded subversive bullshit. We're picking up the crumbs. I can think of a few channels that get that message out there, but not as accurately as I would like. Here's another take from somebody who I wasn't even aware of until today over on Twitter, with their absolute massive L take. Theory-wise, I genuinely despise retail WoW's overly saccharine aesthetics. It is the antithesis to every reason I fell in love with Warcraft all those years ago. But this conversation is being spoiled by people attributing bad faith politicking to what should be standard art criticism. See, we can't talk about the political side of this shit. It's just the art, you guys. It's just the surface level. Don't go below skin deep. Don't point to the fact that they're pushing this brown, woke, gay, anti-white bullshit and everything, because that's just bad faith politicking. We just need to look at the surface level and how the art absolutely sucks now. That's all. That's what a gatekeeper looks like. I've been trying to tell people about these subversive channels, these channels that just toe the line so that they can get their fucking shekels and they don't have to worry about pissing off the wrong people. And they can continue to get tens of thousands of views. Because if they spoke about for 1 minute what was actually happening in this world, they might end up in a bubble like me, where they're lucky to get 500 views to maybe 5,000. Which brings me to the YouTube algorithm and how extremely annoying it is these days. I could show you the analytics on my channel and how my videos are going up, 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 and then all of a sudden, nope, drops off a cliff. You would think that if something is trending upward, it's getting 50 views, then 100, then 2, then 3, then 4, that it would continue to trend upward, right? Isn't that natural? Not on this channel. Because as soon as it starts to get up to 300-400 views an hour, all of a sudden it dives down to 9 views an hour, 20 views an hour, and then it just fizzles and goes away. I can't help but feel like the algorithm has me on some sort of a fucking shadow ban. Is that a little sus to anybody else? It certainly seems like it. Now that we know how they shadow ban people across social media, a big thing came out on X, which is supposed to be the free speech platform, how X was boosting certain people and pushing certain people down.
Elon Musk's free speech platform X has been censoring anti-Israel voices. That is what has come out since allowing the algorithm to be open source. Everybody can look through it. And it's quite shocking. The people who are being limited and censored are anybody who's anti-Israel. they're being labeled as hate and harassment. Their profiles are then limited and ensured that they're not being boosted. And people who are pro-Israel, even if they're actually quite vile and they've actually been in support of genocide, their profiles are listed as neutral and they instead get boosted.
It seems like this is something that is happening across the board. So while I'm sitting here feeling dejected that a message that I feel is very important isn't reaching the people that it should be reaching, though there's no small wonder anymore why that's happening. It's very demoralizing to see that. When you know the truth, and you're trying to bring it to other people, your voice is being pushed down, and shit like this is being raised up. This is bullshit. Whether she knows it or not, whether she's acting on bad faith or not, speaking of bad faith, it's bullshit. There's a difference between feminine and feminist. And in case you didn't know the difference, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty in your face.
For generations, there has been war and brutality. But at your place, an enemy is just a friend you haven't met. Build, decorate, and celebrate in a home of your own in Azeroth. Adventure is calling you home.
Is that
Thoradin's Wall? Yes.
the stories and legends I read as a child were true?
Pride in our legends. Foment's superiority. The cycle of war. It never ends, does it?
All these characters that they're creating that nobody asked for. Putting Khadgar in a fucking wheelchair. Giving you random generic black lady paladin with one arm and one eye, 101. I mean, everybody can see it. And that's the thing that irritates me, is that everybody can see it. But somehow they don't want it to be true, because they flock to people like this and they just continue to swallow the bullshit. I guess if Bellular was being honest about what's happened in World of Warcraft, his channel wouldn't really exist anymore, or he'd have to switch gears. So he doesn't exactly want to shit where he eats, right? But he doesn't want to seem like a shill, so every now and then he'll give him some shit about some L-take that they have. But he continues to cover it. His entire channel exists because of it. So then why would he cut to the heart of the matter? Why would he tell you that there's funding coming from places like BlackRock? In case you guys aren't aware of what BlackRock is, well, here it is. Just take a look at that name. Fink. I mean, how else am I supposed to get this across to people without being censored over here? There's a lot of stuff that I would say over here if I could. But they'll take the channel down. They'll take the video down, and eventually they'll take the channel down. You've got a subversive element that has infiltrated academia years ago and brainwashed people into thinking a certain way. Did anybody notice all these high school students in Minnesota rushing into Walmarts and screaming and yelling about all this shit that they probably don't really fully understand yet? Did anybody see those videos? Where are they getting this shit from? They're getting it from their teachers, who are grooming them to think a certain way. When I was in high school, none of us would ever do that kind of shit. Why? Because our teachers weren't pushing us to do that kind of shit. We were normal teenagers. We goofed around in study hall. We went home and played like Resident Evil 2. We were looking through strategy guides. You know what I mean? We were normal kids concerned with normal kid shit. We didn't give a fuck about what's going on in the world in terms of like, oh, Minnesota, we need to go protest ICE and do all this stuff. So this shit has infiltrated through the schools all the way up into college, and then it spits out these activists who have inserted themselves into basically every trade in the world. You've got all these women, mostly, who are hyper-feminist, who are hyper-LGBTQ, pro-gay rights, anti-white male patriarchy in every single fucking field in the world. And we wonder why this shit is widespread and everywhere. And they don't even understand why they're doing what they're doing. They have no idea where their marching orders come from. They just think that it's the virtuous thing to do. It's the thing. I'm doing the current thing. Look at me. I haven't researched any of this deeply, but I'm upset. I'm upset about the current thing. I'm going to tell everybody how upset I am about the current thing. Look how involved I am. So this is why all of your hobbies have been infiltrated with this anti-male, anti-white, bullshit propaganda, subversive demoralization trash. And I'm tired of people who stand between the truth and everybody else. They're just like, no, you guys can't come in through this door. You can't peel back the layers. I don't want you to see where it's trickling down from. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just let's talk about the Disneyfication of the graphics, you guys. Look, the graphics are very Disney. Isn't that upsetting? Look how Disney the graphics are. Has nothing to do. Don't look at the guy behind the curtain. Don't pay attention to him.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to go there, or they're going to take away my shekels. I don't want my viewership to go into the toilet. So I got to toe this line. Stop listening to these people. They don't give a shit about you. They really don't. They don't. All they care about is their bottom line. I think that possibly for her, because she's not like a huge channel or anything yet, she might just have an L take, but Bellular, I'm pretty sure, knows the score and doesn't want you to know it. Watch out for influencers. Just like people have been very, very adept at understanding finally that all these politicians and all these actors don't give a shit about you. They're just parroting a bunch of garbage. You should think the same thing about influencers. Because the majority of them only give a shit about their bottom line. That's it. That's it. If they rattle that cage too much and they make too much of a noise, they're not going to get what they've been getting. They're not going to get exclusive deals for all these different things. They're not going to get all these, they're going to get all these prizes and shit. Anyway, just be smart, just be wise, okay, to the scam. Understand what's going on in the world. And you got to learn to ignore people who have like millions of followers or some shit, because they're compromised. That's one of the things I told the Groypers. I was telling people about Nick Fuentes a while ago, saying that this guy, he's mixing some truth in there, but he's mixing lies as well. And then he comes out as like this full-on, oh, Epstein was awesome, actually, kind of bullshit that he's been doing lately. You got to watch it. If people have a platform, if they got millions of people watching them, there's a reason for it. Even though they're going to pretend like, oh, I've been deplatformed everywhere. I've been deplatformed. Well, not anymore. You're on a soapbox. You got millions of people watching you. So what they'll do is they'll mix the truth with lies. And that's exactly how rat poison works, by the way. They don't just feed rats poison. They have to wrap it up in something tasty. So watch out for controlled opposition. Watch out for gatekeepers. And yeah, at this point, I want to kick it over to all 400 of you who have seen this video. Smash that like button, subscribe, click the notification bell. God bless. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.
Folks, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Nostalgia. It's delicate.